All right, everyone, I think we're gonna get started. Looks like we're all pretty much through the line. So welcome to our March meeting. I apologize, I don't know what happened to my voice, but it's kind of rough today. So we're gonna get started now. All right, what is this thing? All right, so just a couple updates from my end. You should have received an email from Dr. Jensen on the 14th, so last week, and she talked about this opportunity to advocate for OT. So she is helping to run the 5th grade career fair, and so we have the opportunity to go. It is on Wednesday, April 12th, during the school day, and so I know most campus students have class all day. So this is really speaking out to those that are in the GO program. If you would like to have this opportunity, please contact Dr. Jensen or contact Candace or Lauren on our exec team. They are kind of helping to head this up. Lunch will be provided. And then also just note that our spring banquet is April 8th at 5 p.m. There is an email from Paige Mead, from PHPSG, and so make sure that you go find that email. It was sent on, I went back and looked, March 10th, I think was the latest one, and RSVP on that. It's a masquerade theme. It should be fun. All right. What am I doing?
Can you break it? That's okay. I can just hold a little bit. Okay, so the first thing is the adaptive Easter egg hunt, which is Sunday, April 9th. The set time is 10:30, but I said it earlier because we're going to have to set up a ton of tables and stuff, and I haven't been told how many St. Mary's students will be there to help us yet. I'm waiting on that. But we'll have, someone's going to be in a bunny costume that I'm renting to take photos with kids, so we're going to have to help take photos for families. There's going to be face decorating, so a couple people who are good at painting or artsy help decorate kids' faces. We're going to have sensory booths with different sensory experiences that people will take over. Then there's egg coloring, which is sure to be a giant mess, but a lot of fun. And there's obviously going to be tons of eggs hidden, so pair up with some kids and families and help them find them. And we still have quite a few spots available. The next thing, which I really need you guys to sign up for, is the Gross Catholic High School Fair. This is like a career fair for them, and they want, we're partnering with the pharmacy fraternity from the National Honor Society sort of deal. I don't know what the name is, like Pi Kappa something. I apologize. But we're partnering with them, so they're going to have a PT, a pharmacy, and an OT booth so that we can show kids what it is we do, which is the perfect age group because they're all going to be going off to college and deciding what they want to be. So we have an 11 to 1 group, and then we have a 1 to 3. So you're only going to need to stay for 2 hours, and it's a good way to get OT out there and advocate for our profession. And we're not doing it in a boring way. Like, we're going to have a hands-on table too, where we like duct tape kids' hands funny and make them button shirts and stuff so that they get to feel what it's like to have a disability and not be able to do something simple. And lastly, check the Google Doc that Candace keeps sending you in reminder emails, etc. All of your attendance and all of your volunteer hours are totaled in there. However, volunteer and attendance still counts up until May, so anything that you do here on out will also be added, so do not panic. And if you have any questions, direct them straight to me, and I'll respond.
Thanks.
Thanks.
And that's a good reminder. So the Dean's reimbursement check, so you probably got your concession checks if you came through the line. The Dean's reimbursement check, though, does not come out until usually June. So just so that you guys are aware, I'm not sure if we've said that before, but that's why volunteer and everything counts through the end of this year, is to make sure that you guys all have that opportunity. Ooh. Sorry, you just took a bite.
Sorry, guys. So a lot of this you already know. It's just kind of touching base. So they say business casual. Oh, very nice. So refer to the pictures, but be wearing comfortable shoes. I think everyone, Trisha, who went last year can vouch for that. You already got an email from, her name is Bridget, about the Dean's Lunch and the alumni reception. So hopefully you guys all saw that. One thing we are asking is that you honor the spot you signed up for the lunch, because they're setting up a pretty like elaborate thing. So we really, like, if you sign up for the 11:30, like Sarah and I will be there, so you'll be in trouble if you don't. And we are, if you RSVP'd and don't show up, then you don't get your Dean's reimbursement. So we're really making sure that people go to the lunch. There is one student who got taken care of. Okay, never mind. Okay, so if you have any problems with that, shoot me an email. But it'll be on you. Like if flights are an issue, then you need to work with another student. I have a master list, so if you need assistance with that, I can help. Just let me know as soon as possible. As for a fun thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's an AOTA app that you can download on your phone, and you can build kind of a schedule if you want. It's really cool, so you can check that out. It's free. We gave the concessions checks just for future reference. We did end up making $9.20 an hour. So for everyone, like for next year, hope, just so you know, in case that's motivating, I don't know. Does anyone have any questions on like concessions or Dean's reimbursement or anything as of now? Abigail?
Are we going to have to find you a conference like we found Caitlin last year with?
Yeah, that's my next slide. Yeah. Is there anything about Dean's reimbursement specifically? Okay. And if there is, you can email me. That's probably your best go-to.
And just another plug, please refer to the Google Doc Sheila mentioned, because we don't want people thinking they're going to get it and then in June not getting a check. So make sure that you refer to that so that you know if you have continued to make those qualifications for the reimbursement.
Oh, and another thing, I just wanted to make a note for the expo to check out. I think a lot of people last year didn't give it like a ton of time. They just went really quick and didn't realize there was a lot of cool stuff there. So kind of like keep that in mind, because there's a chance to win like a free certification exam, free study supplies, all this stuff. So give yourself a chance to like check that all out. So this is referring to what Abby was asking about. So in order to get the Dean's reimbursement, we are asking that you address your name and address wherever you'll be May, June, and put a stamp on the envelope. And then you are required to find me at conference. To make this easier, we don't know, it's different than last year, so I have to figure out, but I'm gonna set goals to sit kind of in the front of the expo area, just because that's kind of a neutral area, kind of easy to find. But I will post on the Facebook group that morning once I like check it out specifically. So I set up the times I'll be there, 11 to noon Thursday and Friday, and then 8 to 9 on Saturday, because obviously Sunday I won't be there. Is there any questions on that?
And this is how you get the reimbursement.
Yeah.
So if you don't give an envelope to her at conference, you won't get the reimbursement.
So once I get the envelope, then we use that envelope to mail out your check in June, if that makes sense. And then also, I didn't make a note on here, but they are asking, most of you for concessions already did this, but to print off your confirmation ticket and just put it in the envelope for us. He just wants like proof that you didn't just walk in and give it to me. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, so sorry I don't have any slides. I was at drill Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But just wanted to thank everyone for coming out. If you came out to the silent auction before the distinguished lecture, and for everyone that helped donate items, we actually made $1,076.75 to donate to AOT PAC. So yeah, so that's all we have. Thanks.
Details on how to pay you.
Oh yeah. So I haven't been able to get an email out or anything, but I'll email all the winners, that you won an item, and we can arrange to pick it up. And then for payment, it's just either cash or check made out to CUSOTA. So I'll be in contact with you guys if you want soon.
He said he brought some of the items,
Oh, yeah.
but if we don't know who won them.
I have it on my computer, so I can do that. Oh, okay. So Jeff brought a few of the items that were won. And at the end, I think we have mainly just the scarves because I know one of the other things he brought, Dean Bradbury won. So I can let you guys know out of the scarves who won them here if you want to pick them up now, and we can just get payment later.
All right, thank you guys. And seriously, thanks for everyone that showed up to the silent auction. That's a great turnout. Any comments from you? Okay. All right, so we do have nominations for our new exec team coming up. So here are the positions that will be opening this spring. And then like we had in the fall, there'll be 4 more positions that open up in the fall. So overall responsibilities, you will need to attend exec team meetings and chapter meetings. So the exec team meets a week before the meetings that we have here with you guys. So that's twice a month. And then making sure that you are a part of the brainstorming and assisting of running events. Keeping the board up to date on what's your class and what's your pathway. We have all representation in that sense. Keeping everyone up to date on that. And then helping to bring in speakers, looking for other service or social events. So the president, this was my role this year. So as a president, you schedule and you preside over all the regular meetings. You communicate with your advisor, and then you also communicate with the distance folks, both in Regis and Alaska. You invite in guest speakers, and I will be working on the officer transition coming up very soon. Other responsibilities there, you can kind of see, read yourself. You guys are all smart. Vice President, our Vice President, do you guys want to come up and say anything? Okay. It might just be quicker this way. Our Vice President is our main service coordinator. And so Sheila has coordinated all the service experiences this year and is the one that kind of is keeping track of our service hours, as well as it just has kind of worked out that she's kept track of attendance this year as well. You'll get a chance to write a grant, which is a neat experience, and really support the president.
It's not hard, don't be scared.
She says it's not hard, don't be scared. Okay, AOTA. AOTA liaison. This was Jill's position this year. So basically you are focused on AOTA, making sure everything, that you're keeping everyone up to date on what's happening with conference information, relaying that to the members. You will also be in charge of concessions, which is one of our main fundraising opportunities. And then, yeah, I mean, you can read the rest, but conference is the big. I would highly suggest that you go to conference. It will allow you to have a better understanding of what your roles are. So treasurer, this was Sam's position this year. So for treasurer, you will collect the dues from members, and you will make sure that you are keeping the budget up to date, distributing funds. And so our funds are still all under one big CUSOTA, even with the distance pathways. And so you get to do some communication with distance as well. And then making sure that you'll also run like the fundraising. When we did the clothing fundraiser in the fall, that was something Sam organized. And then our ASD rep is also up for election. So this was Brady's position. And so you will represent CUSOTA at the Assembly of Student Delegates meeting that happens at AOTA conference. And so you do get a little bit of a stipend to, and that's also, the AOTA liaison gets their ticket paid for AOTA. And then the ASD rep gets a stipend of $500 to attend conference, since they are required to go for these meetings. And so Brady is there, flies out on Tuesday, I believe, and is there all weekend. So you are required to go to that. And then also representing Creighton at NODA. And those meetings are once a month. and so you will attend those as well. There's a lot of faculty from Creighton that are on the board, and so you get to, I guess, have more contact with them as well. And then just encouraging that membership. There's also 2 distance meetings for the ASD portion of it that you will need to be a part of. And then we've always had the ASD rep run our silent auction just because that's kind of part of the political side of that role. Okay, nominations. If you want to nominate yourself or a friend, send me an email with your name or that person that you're nominating and the desired position that you are nominating them for. Please send this to me by April 3rd. So I'm giving you guys 2 weeks to have these nominations in. But remember that AOTA is in that meantime, so make sure that those are sent in a timely manner. And then April 10th is our April meeting, and that's when we will have you guys introduce yourself, give a short little explanation on why you're a fit for the position, and we will be voting online after that meeting. So it's been brought to my attention that April 10th is a crazy day for OT1s, so I'm very, very aware of this. We are planning to have the elections right away. So election day is usually when we cater in lunch for you guys. And so on that day, we will have the nominations come up right at the start. We'll start right at noon, have people come, give their spiels, and then we will let OT1s go through the lunch line first so that if you guys need to leave, you can do so, but we don't want this to deter you from running for a position. So we are trying to make that as easy as possible. The schedules were set earlier and somehow I missed your test schedule for that day, I guess. So I really do apologize for that, but it's pretty much impossible to shift a CUSOTA meeting just because of all the other organizations that we would impede on. So don't let that deter you. We will get you out of here in a timely manner and use it as a study break. You'll be fine. They're all looking at me like, you don't understand. The password for today's meeting is nominate. And now for our guest speaker, we have Chelsea from Arias Medical, and she is going to come talk to us about traveling OT. Once again, if you guys didn't get information from her, she brought in a lot of little knickknacks and a brochure. So if you guys did not get that, come and get that after the meeting. But let's welcome Chelsea.
All right, and if you guys don't have it now, feel free to come on up, or if you need to load up on pizza, go ahead, because I'm going to pull up my presentation quick. All right, cool. So first of all, my name is Chelsea Klingensmith. Normally I'm not speaking to this many people, so I feel really official with this little microphone. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is just travel OT, what it entails, what the process is, and I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about what Arias is, but then I'm going to go into a video about travel and then go over some frequently asked questions. So I know that I have some little contact information sheets going around. So if you have one, fill it out and just pass it on to the next person, and I will collect those at the end. So we'll go right ahead. So my name is Chelsea Klingensmith. I am a senior student outreach coordinator at Arias Medical. I've been with the company for a little over 3 years, and what I do is travel to schools and speak with students about how I can help them find a position. So we are based in Omaha, Nebraska, actually, so it's nice to be able to just drive on down the road, but normally we're at universities across the U.S. So the last place I was at was Colorado State. I was at Montana before that, so kind of all over the place. But I always like to gauge who we have in the crowd. So raise your hand if you're a first year. Okay, and second years, the rest of you, I'm assuming. Okay, cool. And now raise your hand if you're going to AOTA. Okay, cool. So we will actually be exhibiting at AOTA. I don't know what our booth number is, but I know they mentioned the expo. Definitely go around to the exhibit hall. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff in there. You know, there's a lot of like OT equipment and learning materials. So it's a really cool way to learn more. And here's just a plug for that. But just so you guys know a bit more about me, I love reading, going to concerts, trying new restaurants. If you guys have any favorite places in Omaha, let me know. I like to play board games and just spend time with my friends and family. But for all of the distance students out there, I know you guys don't have my information, so I have it right here on this slide. So I'll leave it up for just a second so you can copy it down. But for all of you in here, my business card is in the back of the brochure. So yeah. All right, and so what is Arias Medical? Who here has heard of Arias before? Okay, cool, so we've got good showing. So we are a nationwide staffing firm, and what that means is that we have jobs in all 50 states. We have both full-time permanent as well as travel. A bulk of what we do is travel positions. We work with all medical settings, so, you know, we're gonna see hospital, you know, so inpatient, acute, skilled nursing, we see home health kind of all over the place. And we're really just here to make your transition from school to work a little bit better for you, because I know when it comes time for graduation, you're trying to finish up your clinicals, you are trying to study for boards, and you need to find a job. So it's a lot on your plate at once, and so that's what we're here to help with. So yes, that we have 3 members of our therapy student outreach team. So when you start looking for a position, you might be talking to me or you might be talking to one of them. But like I mentioned, we specialize in helping new grads to find positions. So we actually work with students day in and day out. Students are the only people that we work with. So I feel like we have a pretty good grasp on what you guys need, what questions you have. But we really just want to take the stress off of your plate. So any questions so far? All right. All right, and so I'm sure there are people out there that want the numbers and want to know a bit more about our credibility. So we've actually been in business for over 45 years. Our therapy division has been placing people for about 12. So we've been working with therapists finding positions for quite some time, and our student outreach team has been around for about 5 years. So the amount of students we placed in 2014 was 70. In 2015, it was 75. And just last year, it was 86. 80 of those were contract. 4 were direct hire, which basically means permanent. And 2 were match hire, which means that you take a travel position knowing that it could turn into a permanent position. So that's what match hire is. And then based on the numbers from 2015, we had 40 students that took 2 or more assignments with us and 14 students that took 4 or more. I know that we still have people from 2015 who are traveling with us. And the reason I bring this up is because there's a lot of people that will ask, okay, well, what's your retention like? What is turnover like for a traveling therapist? And this just gives you a bit of an idea. All right, and then here is a map that shows where we have placed students in 2015 and 2016. So it really is all over the US. If you see some states that don't have little triangles in them, it's either because there weren't any students looking in that area, or maybe it's not a very new grad friendly state. For instance, I know like New York and Maine aren't super new grad friendly, which is why we don't have positions, but this just gives you a bit of an idea. So do you guys have any questions on this? What was that? I don't think we had too many people looking in Iowa, which was, and there's nothing against Iowa. I just know we only go to a couple of therapy schools in Iowa, and so I don't think we had as big of a draw for Iowa students. Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So she was asking if there's a state on there that that there's no triangles in. Can she ask about it? Absolutely. Like I said, it could just be that we didn't have any positions or people weren't looking there. So it's always best to just ask us and see what we have available and always see what the job market is like. Anything else? All right. Well, I'm going to play you guys a video. And this just covers how travel works as a new grad with us.
Welcome to Arias Medical. We hope this answers any questions you have about the world of travel therapy and how Arias can help with your job search. Travel therapy assignments consist of temporary opportunities due to employment gaps caused by maternity leaves, census spikes, and other various reasons. A student outreach coordinator will contact you to start the process. Once we determine that we will be a good fit for each other, an assigned recruiter will assist you with the application process and become your main point of contact. Assignments are typically 13 weeks long. They may be longer or shorter depending on the employment needs of the facility and your potential interest in extending your contract. Your first assignment may not be your dream job, but our main focus is to make sure that you receive mentorship as a newly graduated therapist. Once you start working and gain experience, more opportunities will become available to you. It's a good idea to keep your options open and experience as many settings and locations as you can. This makes you more marketable to employers and helps to build a phenomenal resume. Flexibility is vital. The more flexible you are, the more likely it is that we find you a position that you love. Keep detailed notes about your experiences on each assignment. Traveling therapists update their resumes frequently, and detailed descriptions about past assignments are key to landing a new job. Be proud of your journey. Include any accomplishments or awards you may have received on the job. There are several pay packages to choose from with Arias. The package is split into taxed and non-taxed money. The taxed money consists of your hourly wage, while the non-taxed money is used for living expenses such as housing and incidentals. Our in-house housing department can find your housing for you. However, if you're interested in looking on your own, you're able to do that as well. You are unable to work for us without consenting to a background check. We are able to work with a few minor offenses, but please contact your Arias recruiter for further information. Be sure to research licensure information before determining where you get your first license and all others after. The more licenses you have, the more choices you will have when it comes to choosing a position. Commitments made to the facility and Arias must be taken seriously. Arias does not require you to travel for a predetermined amount of time, so be certain of your choice to commit to the 13-week assignment. Compliance consists of multiple documents ranging from CPR certification to immunization records. Please find these if they are in storage and have them ready to provide. Remain professional and considerate to everyone you work with. You are representing yourself as well as Arias. If there is an incident, be mindful that a reputation can follow you. You decide where you go. If we don't have positions where you're looking, we will let you know. We do give advice on what locations and settings have the most opportunities for your experience level, but you have the choice in where you go and when. When it comes to picking a staffing firm, you want to find a reliable company that has your best interest in mind. As a traveler, that company will be your employer. Find a company that you are comfortable with and that you're positive will be a good fit for you. Arias is Joint Commission certified. The Joint Commission evaluates and certifies the quality and safety of care and sets the standards by which healthcare quality is measured in America. To earn and maintain accreditation, organizations must have an extensive on-site review to evaluate the organization's performance. We are dedicated to helping you find the perfect opportunity and will do our best to help you achieve your dreams. While this presentation focuses mainly on travel opportunities, Arias also has direct hire, match hire, and PRN opportunities as well. Contact a student outreach coordinator to begin your job search with Arias Medical today.
All right, so moving right along. So this will go into some more frequently asked questions about travel from students, but I just wanted to see first what questions you guys have. Yeah. Yes, so she's asking if we've heard back from any students about what the mentorship is like at the facilities. And yes, we have heard back from them and they have had a great time. I mean, how we do it is anytime we hear about a position, so let's say a hospital calls in and they have an OT need, we'll be asking them, okay, how many other OTs are on staff? Because we'll never send you to a position that doesn't have other OTs on staff. And even if there are other OTs on staff, we want to make sure that they're available to answer your questions, be a resource for you, bounce ideas off of, all of that good stuff. We'll also ask them if they've worked with new grads before, because if they haven't worked with new graduates or aren't experienced with it, we don't want to send you there either. So we do go through a vetting process with each of our jobs to make sure that they are new grad friendly. And we've been very fortunate. We work with a lot of great facilities who like taking new graduates, and we've heard very good feedback from them. Good question. Anything else? Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
So I know the video said that we need to be prepared to maintain the 13 weeks at a rotation. If a facility is doing something unethical and we contact you, is there a way to break that 13-week contract?
Absolutely. If you are ever in a position where there is something morally or ethically wrong, we want to know about it, because first of all, we want to get you out of that facility. We don't ever want to put your license in jeopardy. So we want to get you out of that facility, but we also want to know so that we can stop working with that facility as a whole. Because of course, we don't want to work with a facility that is not good and could put people's livelihoods and careers in jeopardy. So good question. We will get you out of there, no problem. And thankfully, we haven't had that problem. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
Then how does salary work when we go through you? Is then in the application process, is the salary debatable, or is it just a flat fee? Does a portion of that go to you guys and then to our pocket, or how does that all work?
Yes, that's a good question. So as a traveler, you will be paid weekly via direct deposit. And as a traveler, RES will be your employee. So you will go through the facility for the interview, but we will be responsible for your payroll, your benefits, your housing, all that fun stuff. And so the salary is negotiable, and that's something definitely not a flat rate. It depends on where you are geographically and what kind of setting you're in. So I can't really give like a ballpark number of what it would be, but it is negotiable, definitely not a flat rate, and something that can kind of fluctuate with each assignment depending on where you are. Any other questions right now? All right, well, I will just kind of go through these slides, and if you guys have any questions as I go through them, just raise your hand. All right, so as I mentioned, how long do you normally stay in one setting or contract? It is normally 13 weeks. That's an industry standard, so you'll find that in just about any staffing firm that you speak with. And I think the video said this too, but it may be longer or shorter depending on the need of the facility. But a lot of what we work with is going to be like maternity leaves or any other sort of medical leave. And so those are typically 13 weeks long. All right, so what kind of health insurance benefits do you have as a travel therapist? This is a big one. So we do have full health and dental benefits, as well as 401k and PTO. You are eligible for PTO after about a year of traveling, so that's normally about 3 or 4 assignments. And as far as health insurance goes, you are eligible the first of the month following 28 days of employment. So if you started a position today, you'd be eligible on May 1st. We have had day one insurance in the past, and we found that this works better both for us as a company and for our travelers. We do go through United Healthcare for our health insurance and Delta Dental for dental insurance. And you do have 2 different plans to choose from as a traveler, a basic health and a high deductible. And I will say this is also the same insurance that we have as internal employees. So I promise you're not getting like a terrible package or something that you're like, this health insurance is awful. So that's what we have as far as benefits go. We do also offer $300 each year for CEU reimbursement. So if you're, trying to maintain your license and need some CEU credits, we can reimburse for that. We do also reimburse for travel to and from your assignment, and we'll reimburse for any state licenses that you need to work for us. So just a few benefits. Any questions on this? Okay, is there time to visit home? Absolutely. So the cool thing about travel is that it's your assignment. And a lot of travelers take 1 or 2 weeks off in between your assignments to go home, and maybe you need to drop some things off, maybe you need to pick some things up, but most people do take a week or 2 off. I know there are some people that just want to bounce from assignment to assignment, so you may end on Friday, and if you want to start a position on Monday, that's something we can help with too. But a lot of travelers do plan their assignments around any prior obligations. So let's say you have a week-long vacation coming up. Most people either make sure they're done with their assignment before then or start one after that. A lot of times you are able to take a day or 2 off if necessary during your assignment. So I know a lot of people have weddings and they might need to get back for like a rehearsal dinner. We can definitely work with that. Just make sure you tell the facility and us up front. And the facility will sometimes have you make up that day, sometimes not. So that really kind of depends. All right, and how does compensation differ as a traveler? Your pay package is going to be split into 2 sections. So you have your taxed portion, which is going to include your hourly wage. And then the non-taxed is going to include a tax-free stipend. And that is going to be a flat rate of $280 a week that you get simply for being a traveler. And so that's something that you can use for groceries. Maybe you want to use it to put in your savings, or maybe you want to pay off your loans, but it's yours to do with what you want. And that non-tax money also includes housing. So we can actually find all of the housing for you, and all you need to provide are your personal belongings. And we base the amount on the average price of housing for that specific zip code. Or if you want to look on your own, we'll give you that amount of money to look on your own. Some people will do Airbnb, some people will stay with friends. So it's really totally up to you. But do you guys have any questions on this? Yeah. Yes. 280 for your incidentals, and then housing is separate. Well, it'll all come in kind of like the same chunk, but it's 280, and then your housing is on top of that too. Any other questions? Yeah.
So what if you find housing that's cheaper than what you allotted?
So she asked if you find housing that's cheaper than what you allotted, you get to keep that extra money. Any other questions?
Do you ever have multiple students or groups of people be in the same area, living together, et cetera?
Absolutely. We do have, I think we have, I want to say like 10 or 12 traveling pairs working with us right now. And as far as traveling as a pair, it's an awesome idea. You do need to be a bit more flexible than you would be otherwise traveling by yourself. But normally what we'll do is we'll try and get you in the same city. And if for some reason we can't do that, we'll try and get you as close as we can. And so I know sometimes we have travelers where their facilities might be an hour apart, and so we find their housing in the middle. So, but we do have traveling pairs quite often, and a lot of new grads like to do it just so that they have someone else with them going through the same thing. But yes, that is something we help with. Once it gets to triples, that's a little too many people, and we can't really help, but pairs for sure. And we do also work, I should mention this, we do also work with PTs and speech in our therapy division, but we also have nursing, lab, imaging, cardio division. So even if you have a friend that's a nurse and you want to travel together, we can actually do that too. Any other questions? All right, we will roll right along. Okay, and I know we already mentioned this a little bit. Is there mentorship as a traveler? Yes, we will only submit you to new grad friendly positions. A lot of the facilities we work with love working with new graduates because a lot of times new grads are still very willing to learn. Whereas if you get a therapist who's been, you know, in the field for 20 years, they tend to have a certain way that they like to do things. And so as a new grad, they like that you guys are still willing to learn and try out different techniques, work with different therapists, that sort of thing. But we do check with all of the positions that come through our company to make sure that they are new grad friendly. And like I said, if they haven't worked with new grads or there's not another therapist on staff, we won't even tell you about those positions. All right, and what settings do travel OTs work in? We do work with all medical settings. Like I mentioned, a lot of hospital and skilled nursing. We're also seeing a lot more home health come available. And we do work with school systems, not very often just because we often need to sign a contract with the entire district. And so we do work a lot more with medical settings. Any questions on that? All right, is gas paid for if traveling is required? Yes, gas will be reimbursed up to a certain mileage amount. It will almost always cover where you need to go. So it'll be reimbursed to and from your assignment. But let's say that you are going to Alaska or Hawaii, we are able to pay for flights as well as rental cars. We do often recommend that you just take your personal car if you're going somewhere within these 48, just because it's easier for you to have your own car, you know, drive to your facility from where you're living, that sort of thing. But of course, that's, you know, not super feasible with Alaska. Absolutely not for Hawaii. So We did actually have someone, oh, where were they driving from? I think she went from Oregon to Alaska, and I was like, oh, I mean, that's a long drive, but probably not terrible. And I think she said it took her like 45 hours or something. Yes. So it's possible, but we won't make you do it if you don't want to. Traveling with pets. I'm not sure how many of you have pets, but we do have a ton of travelers that bring their dogs, cats, rodents along. I say that because I used to have a pet rat, and rodents are truly the best pets. So, but if you are traveling with pets, you will pay for all pet deposits and fees. However, if you do have a dog that's over 40 pounds or considered an aggressive breed, the traveler must sign the lease, and if you're staying in an extended hotel with us, you must pay for the hotel. You'll still be reimbursed, but we will have you put your name on the lease and pay for it up front, and we will reimburse you. And so normally if you do take housing through us, we will put our name on the lease. So we'll put, Arias Medical on the lease. But you are able to travel with pets. I don't think we've had too many problems. I know that we did actually have a traveler. I don't think it was a therapist, but we had a traveler bring their pet snake along with them, and the snake got out in the apartment complex. So if you have a snake, I commend you, but maybe don't bring it traveling. Or if you do, make sure it's secure in its little cage. But any questions on traveling with pets? Okay, cool. All right, can you break a contract? I know we talked about that briefly too. Very rarely happens. Like I said, we do go through a pretty extensive interview process to make sure that we are setting you up in the right position. We do not, rush you through the process and say, hey, we have this job available. You got to take it. So we really do make sure that you are getting into the best position possible. And like I said, you can break without consequences if there are ethical concerns with the facility. I've been here for over 3 years and I haven't heard of that happening. So things are going pretty well in that respect. All right, can you pick where you want to go? Of course you can. This is your assignment, so you are the one to choose where you go and when, what kind of setting you want to be in, everything going on with the assignment. What we'll do is talk about preferences, and if you are looking in a really specific area or specific setting or something like that, and it's something that we can't help with, we will let you know, because we don't want to string you along and make you think that we have positions that we don't have. That's just wasting everyone's time. So normally what we say is that the more open you are, the easier it'll be for us to find you a position. So if you're looking in a pretty specific area, it might be tough to travel just because it might be hard to find positions, several travel positions in, let's say, just the St. Louis area. That can be tough. So, and new grad travelers often need to be more flexible on all preferences. So, if you know that you really, really want to be in a specific area, you might need to be a bit more flexible on setting or pay or whatever it is. Normally I'll ask students between setting, location, and pay, rank those 1 through 3, 1 being most important, will for sure get you number 1, number 2, sometimes, but you just need to be a bit more flexible. Do you guys have any questions on this? Okay, you guys are making things easy on me. Okay, should travel therapists have a specialization? This is a question I haven't really heard much from students, but someone asked. No, you definitely don't need to. It's actually easier for us to find you a position if you're open to a variety of settings. But with that being said, it does not hurt you if you have a specialty. So you definitely don't need it, but if you have a specialty and you get certified in something specific, we can probably still help with that. Yeah.
Do companies that you pair with mind if the people that you present to them as possible 3-month hires have their entire past as being strictly inpatient or strictly peds? Do they mind that this is different for them?
That's a good question. It kind of depends on where you are at in your career. As a new grad, they're very open. Let's say that you've only had your clinicals in skilled nursing. They're open. If you want an inpatient position, they're open to helping you through that and coach you through inpatient. Whereas if we have a therapist who's been in skilled nursing for 10 years and wants to make the switch to inpatient, that's going to be a lot tougher just because that's all they've known and all they've done. So as a student, no worries at all. A lot of times they'll just make sure, okay, we're going to give her a little bit of extra training to, kind of know what's going on. We'll have an extra person available for her, but that's no problem. Good question. Any other questions? All right. All right. And what is the process to becoming a travel OT? So I've got those. Are those lead sheets still going around? Okay, cool. So I'll just have you turn those in at the end of class. And what we do is just keep in touch with you as graduation approaches. And so especially, you know, with being a couple years out, a year out, we'll only keep in touch with you every like 6 months or so. But you guys do have my information too. So if you have any additional questions, just let me know. I am more than happy to help. And then you'll just kind of contact us. What we do is about 2 to 3 months from when you want to start a position, that's when we'll get you in touch with a recruiter and start the process. But if you have any questions in the meantime, I'm more than happy to help. We also do resume reviews. So if you have any questions on your resume or want suggestions, feel free to send them over to us because we can help with that. Any other questions? All right, and just my last slide here. This is just pros and cons of being a traveler. Pros, you typically do make more money as a traveler than you do in a permanent position just because you are getting that additional $280 a week for being a traveler. You'll get more experience in a shorter amount of time. So if you think about it, if you have a classmate that takes a permanent position, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They'll be in the same, you know, the same facility, working probably with the same people for about a year. And, you know, you could have 3 assignments under your belt at that point. So you do get a bit more experience. You can also work in different settings. You can see the US and you can learn new and different techniques from working with different therapists at different facilities. Cons, of course, you're going to have a shorter training period than you would in a permanent position since the positions are only 13 weeks long. Of course, that makes sense. And travel definitely isn't for everyone. I know that I talk with some people who are like, you know, the idea of travel really intrigues me, but I am a homebody, don't want to leave my family. Or, you know, for people who do already have families or kids, sometimes they don't want to up and move. We totally get that. And also, like I mentioned, we may not be able to help if you have very specific preferences. So yeah, that's really my spiel about travel. What questions do you guys have?
I was just wondering, you said people usually have 2 to 3 different positions a year. Are they usually in the same setting, or are they all different, or is it just based on your preferences?
You know, it really depends on the person. I would say for new grads, it's typically in a couple of different settings. But if you say, hey, I really want skilled nursing, I love skilled nursing, we can get you all of the positions there. So it depends. Sorry, that's not a very black and white answer.
So this might be like a loaded question, but from your perspective, what makes your company better than other traveling companies?
That's a good question. I would say one of the best parts about us is that we do have a student outreach program. Like I said, we've been doing student outreach for 5 years, going on 6. And there are a couple of other staffing firms that have student outreach teams, but we've been doing this the longest. And I think we do a really good job of making you guys feel comfortable heading into your first position, helping you to feel prepared, since we do help with resume reviews as well as interview tips. And this is so generic, but I love everyone I work with. I feel like no matter who you talk to, you're going to get a good person who is knowledgeable, who absolutely knows what they're doing and is reliable. So, yeah. But I do recommend, if you guys are going to be at AOTA, obviously you know a little bit about ARIAS, but I encourage you to go out and talk with other staffing firms and see, you know, who's going to be the best fit for you. Of course, I hope it's us, but I understand that it's not always going to be that way. So I would talk to other staffing firms at AOTA too.
Just for time's sake, I'm going to have anyone that else has questions, if you want to come and ask Chelsea after, that would be great. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us.
Thank you, guys.
I think it was very enlightening. And then just, if you guys could hold on just one second, going back to the nominations, please consider what it would look like to lead in this way. I think leadership is really important. And don't be scared. Like CUSOTA is, yes, it's a big organization, but I think it's really, I think you would ask any of us on the exec team that it's been a really good experience. And we really do help each other. We really work together and support each other on all the events. So don't get scared off by certain aspects of the positions. And then contact us if you have questions about what the time commitment looks like, or some of the roles, or if you're wondering if you would be a good fit, please contact us. We'd love to talk to you about that. So have a good day.